Here's your First Warn weather forecast first. Sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Well, we started off with some cloud cover early this morning, and that kind of stuck around through about late morning, early afternoon. But we've managed to see some sunshine and some clearing too. Just a bit of cloud cover working back in. The rest of this evening is going to be dry. So if you've got any plans out there this evening, should be no issues weather-wise. But we are going to see that cloud cover on the increase, and then eventually some rain showers that'll move back in. Temperatures with the sunshine have warmed into the 70s. We're at 72 now in Rockford. Same thing in Freeport, 71 in Dixon, Freeport, Rochelle, 69 though in Poplar Grove, and 70 currently in Rochelle. As we go through the rest of this evening, we'll maintain that partly cloudy sky. Cloud cover increases later tonight, and then tomorrow morning we'll be waking up to some rain. A look at how much rain is expected to come down, and then a warmer pattern set to move in by next week. All of that coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
A date is set for the memorial service of a young Beloit woman. She was killed in a UW-Platteville dorm room last week.
Plus, a Rockville man learns his fate, how long he'll spend in prison for a violent grocery store robbery.
And a big announcement regarding Beloit's Chief of Police. Andre Sayles talks about why he's moving on.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We thank you for being here. We begin tonight with plans for a memorial service for the Beloit native shot and killed in a University of Wisconsin Platteville dorm room.
A visitation for 22-year-old Kelsie Martin will be this Friday from 5 to 7 at the Daly Murphy Funeral Home that's on Cranston Road in Beloit. On May 19th, UW-Platteville police were called to a campus residence hall. Martin was found in a dorm room with a gunshot wound. Haley Helms died of a self-inflicted gunshot. Martin was rushed to UW Hospital for treatment, where she later died. Both women had graduated from the college just days before.
A Wisconsin woman has been sentenced for a crash that left 4 people dead. Lexus Boedecker will spend 16 years in state prison and 4 years of extended supervision. In April of last year, Boedecker ran a stop sign while driving on Highway 12 in East County Line Road in Lima, causing a crash with 2 other cars. 4 people died as a result. Test results revealed Boedecker had THC in her system while she was driving. She was found guilty on 4 counts of homicide in February.
A man convicted of a violent robbery at a Rockford business will spend nearly 2 decades in prison. Deshaun Davis has been sentenced to 21 years in prison and an additional 3 years on parole. The 22-year-old pled guilty to armed robbery and aggravated battery charges last year. In February of 2022, Davis entered the Schnucks on 11th Street with a gun. He and 23-year-old Malik Gordon demanded money from the store's safe. Surveillance video shows Davis attacking an employee. 2 victims were taken to a local hospital. Gordon accepted a plea deal of 19 years in prison.
Tonight, Freeport police arrested a felon who is now facing multiple weapons charges. Freeport police say a car driven by Johan Derns stopped near Stevenson Street and Green Avenue Saturday night and pointed a pistol with a laser sight at a home. Investigators identified Derns as the suspect. A search of his car revealed the gun, that laser sight, and magazines inside. Derns has multiple past weapon and drug possession convictions. He was booked into the Stevenson County Jail. Tonight, Beloit Chief of Police Andre Sayles says he's led the department since 2021, but next week he'll begin a new journey in another city.
Eyewitness News reporter Blake Dietz sat down with Sayles today to talk about his tenure. Blake, what did he have to say?
Yeah, well, he said he's proud of his tenure. As Chief Sayles tells me, Beloit is his first and only department. It's all he's ever known. He started and grew his career in the city and says now is the time to accomplish a goal that he's had since the start of it all. Chief Sayles began his career with Beloit PD in 2005. By 2021, he was leading that department. He tells me his tenure marked a change in police-community relationships and that he's most proud of diversifying the department, something he hopes will continue.
It's great work that I've been able to put men and women in positions to better themselves, not looking at what the cookie cutter police officer looks like, but bringing in people from all walks of life, different background settings, and giving them an opportunity, because sometimes those opportunities are not allowed for certain people. But I've been able to give individuals that. And then just the police department as a whole.
Now I'll have an extended interview with Chief Sayles coming up in the full story at 6. Mimi.
We'll look forward to that. Thanks, Blake. And other state line police departments announcing a change in leadership. Sergeant Ryan Bivens will be Dixon's next chief of police. This comes following a month-long selection process. A 10-year U.S. Army veteran, Bivens joined Dixon Police in 2009 and leads the department's crisis prevention team. He holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Bivens will officially take on his new role as chief on Monday, June 2nd.
Tonight, multiple state line students are in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, to compete in the 100 Scripps National Spelling Bee. They joined about 200 other students, from every corner of the country to compete in what's become the Super Bowl of spelling. They're all competing to claim the coveted winner trophy along with $50,000 in prize money. So students from the state line include Julia Currian from Loves Park. She goes to Gifted Academy Marshall Middle School. Mason Colthard from Freeport, he goes to Winslow Junior High, and Bridget Reed from DeKalb, who attends Salmonock Middle School. We wish them all good luck.
An area blood center is providing a way for you to attend concerts this summer, all while supporting the community. The Rock River Valley Blood Center kicked off its Save Lives, See Live music drive today. The week-long drive is held at the center's locations in Rockford and Freeport. If you donate blood through Saturday, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a pair of tickets to an upcoming concert in the State Line or in Chicago. You can enter to see the Dave Matthews Band at Huntington Bank Pavilion, Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick at Tinley Park, The Offspring and Jimmy Eat World at Tinley Park, or the Lumineers at Soldier Field. You can also win tickets to the Old Settlers Days Festival in Rockton or the Vitamin String Quartet at the Coronado. They'll be playing music of Taylor Swift and Bridgerton. Both walk-ins and appointments are accepted. To find more information on the Save Lives, See Free music drive, find this story at mystateline.com.
President Trump criticizing Russian President Vladimir Putin over Russia's latest attacks against Ukraine.
Coming up, the increasing pressure from the White House and other world leaders to end the war.
Our skies are dry for now, but we will see some rain begin to move in. A look at when to expect those rain showers and when the 80s are set to return. Coming up in the forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Lever, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
President Trump is slamming Russian President Vladimir Putin tonight after Russia's largest aerial bombardment since the start of the war in Ukraine has killed dozens of Ukrainians in the last 3 days.
Pressure to end the war itself is escalating, with the Trump administration saying it wants to mediate talks between the two leaders in person. Christiana Cordero has the details from D.C.
Today, President Trump claims Russia's Vladimir Putin is playing with fire in its war with Ukraine. Trump, who for months signaled to Russia a scaling back of U.S. support for Ukraine, wrote on social media today, quote, "What Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad." His criticism comes on the heels of Russia's largest drone attack yet, 900 launched in just 3 days, killing dozens of Ukrainians and injuring more than 100, according to Ukrainian officials.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all.
Putin has avoided criticizing Trump directly, instead suggesting the president is showing signs of, quote, emotional overload. Following Russia's latest attack, major allies, including Germany, France, and the U.S., lifted Ukraine's range restrictions, meaning they can now fire weapons farther into Russia. A move Russia asserts is a serious escalation. Ukrainian President Zelensky has called on the U.S. and Europe to impose new, strong sanctions against Russia. But Trump's criticism of Putin hasn't brought a change in tone towards Zelensky. Trump saying the Ukrainian president is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does. Both sides now under renewed pressure to find common ground and end the war, a deal Trump has vowed to broker. Special Envoy General Keith Kellogg today said on Fox News he expects new talks between all countries may happen soon in Geneva.
And then you eventually go to somewhere where you get all three major leaders of all the parties. You get the President Putin, President Zelensky together and hammer this thing out and come to some type of signed document that ends this war.
And today, Russia's foreign minister said Trump and Putin have agreed to prepare for a prisoner swap between the U.S. and Russia, though neither side has provided any other details. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
The COVID vaccine will no longer be recommended for pregnant women and healthy children.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the changes to the CDC's guidelines today, but critics say the shift should have some serious consequences. Pregnant women and their babies are considered at high risk for complications, again, according to these medical experts, if they become infected with COVID. The change could also lead health insurance companies to stop covering the COVID shots. It's been warming up a bit here in the state line after recent below average temps.
When we come back, Candace lets us know about our possible rain chances, looking ahead in our full forecast next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, our temperatures made it into the 70s with some sunshine out there this afternoon. That has been nice, especially after we had some cloud cover early on. We're at 72 in Rockford, Freeport, 70 in Janesville, 71 in Dixon, and the warm spot 74 in Rochelle. Beautiful picture coming in on our Mercy House Skytrack camera here out at the Park Hills Golf Course. This in Freeport and brought to us by Rockford Career College. Still a little bit of a breeze there from the east, but a beautiful evening with just a few clouds working through. Our winds, they've been breezy from time to time, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. We've had some gusts here this afternoon, close to about 20. 72 for our weather watcher Terry down in Genoa, and that easterly wind gusting at 20 miles per hour. Still some dry air in place with that dew point temperature sitting at 48. Our weather watcher Jean down in DeKalb this last hour, 66 degrees with that easterly breeze, a little bit of a cooler impact there. Whatever clearing we've had here late this afternoon and evening fills back in with cloud cover, and eventually some rain showers will start to work in. As rain moves in later tonight, temperatures will drop down to about 54 degrees. Tomorrow it will be cooler. We're at 64 thanks to some cloud cover, and then the day that starts off with rain before becoming a bit more scattered once we get into the afternoon. So let's plan this out on Futurecast. No issues out there this evening. In fact, we are going to stay dry. It'll be comfortable out there. Cloud cover comes back in about 8, 9 o'clock. Our skies will turn mostly cloudy. We're dry up until about midnight, I think, and really for most it might actually hold off until about 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. But as we get closer to that sunrise time, so between about 5 and 6 o'clock, rain showers will begin to move in. They become more widespread for us here as we head into the morning. There will be some pockets of a little more moderate rain coming down, but that moderate rain is not expected to be widespread. So it's more isolated kind of within this rain shield that works through. The rain showers then become more scattered mid to late morning tomorrow and then going into the afternoon. This is low pressure gets a little more organized and develops and moves to the east and southeast of us by Wednesday evening. So on the backside of that low, we're still going to see a few scattered showers for Wednesday afternoon. Those will taper off some getting into Wednesday night, and then an isolated shower can't be completely ruled out there for Thursday, just on the backside of that low, and some heating as we head throughout the afternoon. Heading into Friday, our winds turn to the northwest. There is a cold front that comes in later in the day. So with that could fire off an evening shower and perhaps even a thunderstorm or two, especially east of I-39. So what are we looking at as far as rainfall totals? Well, it's not really going to be a significantly widespread high rain event, but there are going to be some pockets in some locations that pick up at least close to about a half an inch. I don't want you to look at these numbers and the cities associated with them, but more so as just kind of a general range across the area. I think some of those totals that get closer to that half inch will probably be right along and east of that I-39 corridor. Now, once we get beyond this cooler trend and we get into the weekend and they're getting into June, the pattern flips a bit and we hold on to what could be a more summer-like pattern with a higher probability for above average temperatures there, especially across the Midwest and Great Lakes. As we get into the first week of June, same thing for precipitation too. We've got the southwest to northeast flow. So with that'll actually lead to the probability of maybe a few more showers, or at least opportunities for some showers and thunderstorms to come through during that time. So temperatures, when we put this on the 7-day, we're at 64 tomorrow, 71 on Thursday. Saturday could be a little cooler. There's a backdoor cold front that comes in. That's that front that comes through on Friday. So that could knock temperatures down a little faster, but I think we get a rebound into Sunday, and then we're looking at the low 80s by next week.
Thank you, Candace.
Scott's in next with sports.
The Blackhawks introduced their new coach today. So what's his game plan for building the team into a winner again?
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The Blackhawks push to turn around their fortunes on the ice begins a new chapter now with new head coach Jeff Blashill. He was introduced to reporters today in Chicago. He was the Red Wings head coach for 7 seasons and then an assistant coach with the Tampa Bay Lightning the last 3 seasons. He says he grew a lot in his time in Tampa. His primary job is to speed up the development of the young talent in the Blackhawks organization and pull the Blackhawks out of the doldrum of losing that has plagued them in recent seasons.
Every single coaching job in the NHL is a great job, but for me, this job at this moment with this team was the exact job that I wanted.
We wanted someone that would grow with this team, someone that would instill, teach, and hold our players accountable to the fundamental habits required to winning in the NHL, someone that would embrace the challenge of working with and developing a young group of players.
Blashill says players, coaches, and management need to hold each other accountable. He has high expectations, but he also understands the need for a bit more patience with all the team's young prospects. Now, Anders Sorensen is not going anywhere. He's staying on board as an assistant coach for Blashill. Sorensen was the Blackhawks' interim head coach last season from December 5th on. He is still valued for his ability to develop young players. Sorensen, of course, was a longtime assistant coach and then head coach with the Ice Hogs here in Rockford. Well, the Cubs and White Sox are both back in action tonight. The Sox are taking on the Mets. Cubs will host the Rockies again. What a great first 24 hours it's been for the Rivets. They won their opener last night behind the pitching of Chandler Olderman. They had another great outing today against the Traverse City Pit Spitters. University of Houston pitcher Danny Cercello was on the mound for the Rivets, and I'll tell you what, he looks good. He had 3 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. The Rivets put 6 runs on the board in the bottom of the first. Sycamore native Tommy Townsend drew this bases-loaded walk in the first to bring in a run. And the bases were still loaded when third baseman Ian Chuck came up and he parked the baseball in the right field to score a pair of runs. And the bases were loaded again that first inning when second baseman Tate Shamao singled through the infield to score 2 more runs. It was 6-1. The Rivets won it 10-3. They now head to Green Bay for action tomorrow. The Rivets have a new face in their broadcast booth. Andrew Bellison is calling the action. He was the Cubs public address announcer for 10 years, including their 2016 World Series championship season. So what's he doing here? I'm going to have that story tonight at 9 and 10. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First Warn Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. Pretty quiet out there tonight, but rain showers are expected to move back in once we do head into the morning hours tomorrow. For temperatures tonight, those numbers will drop down to around 54 degrees. We only warm up to 64 for tomorrow thanks to some of the rain and cloud cover. But then temperatures will be warming as we head into the weekend.
Thank you, Candace.
And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.